Guys, it's to be coming back to you with another Minecraft video. Today we are going to be checking out how to build this iron farm. It's super easy, super cheap, and it's actually a lot easier to get those villagers and zombies where you want them. So, without saying any more, let's get to it. So before we get started on how to actually build this, I want to give you guys a little tour of what it is and how it works. So in the middle here, we have all of our villagers that have their beds and their workstations. So that is going to be the central point in which the iron golems spawn. So the reason why I have these guys in the center is it reduces the overall footprint of this farm. And then on the outside, I have room for our zombie Steve to run around, terrify these villagers, and make sure that those golems spawn. Now around here I just have some fence to make sure that the zombie doesn't fall off, and then the roof to make sure that the sunlight doesn't burn him. Now the little bridge across is mostly for the ease of getting the zombies over there. I'll show you guys how to use that later, but let's jump on down to the killing chamber. So all the water is going to be flowing towards the center here, and the reason why I have these signs here is just to keep the water back from flowing down in there, but it will still push mobs and golems down into this area. And then I have the flowing water pushing all the items into our collection system. You can tweak this however you guys want, but let's get now into the specifics of how to build this. So over here in this chest, we have all of the items that we will need. So first of all, we're going to need 4 beds for those villagers and 4 workstations. Now, the workstation does not have to be a composter. It can be a lectern, a stone cutter, yeah, pretty much any type of workstation you want, as long as there are 4 of them. Now, the building materials, what we're going to need are going to be roughly 44 building blocks and roughly 200 slabs. And that's pretty much it. The fence is just to keep the zombie in, and the gate is just to get in and out. But beyond that, these are all the materials that we will need to get started. And we also need the temporary blocks just because we're building this low to the ground. So to start building this farm, all you need to do is pick an area that's pretty large, about 20 by 20. Come to the center point and build yourself a little 3 by 3 platform with a temporary block. Now what we're going to do with this is lay our 3 beds like this, and then 1 bed caddy corner like that. And then we're going to lay ourselves a slab down right there. Now this is going to be the room that our villagers will live in. Now we're going to start working on building this little center room here. So all we need to do is build ourselves a fence around and then build up the corners. So this is going to be a 3 high room. So all we do, build the corners like that, frame that in, and then we take our slabs and put one in the middle of these little windows. Now the reason for this is whenever you are moving in and out of these areas, if you hit the shift button or the crouch button, whatever you have that bound to, you can get in and out in a square and a half. So your villagers won't be able to get out, but you will be able to sneak in and out if you need to. So just a little tip, makes things super easy. Now we're going to put a slab in each one of the corners. It doesn't matter if it's the left or right, but that is going to keep the villagers in and the zombies out. Now once we get that done, I left the composters over here, we are going to put the workstation in the opposite corner, just like this. So nothing can get in and nothing can get out unless we want it to. But since we do not have our villagers in there yet, let's leave one of these slabs out just so we can get a minecart through there. Now for the base that the zombie is going to be able to run around in, it's just going to be a 2 wide ring all the way around. Alright, so once you have that in there, we are going to add our fencing all the way around. And once we get the fence around, we will want to add ourselves a gate. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the base. Now we need to add a roof to make sure our zombie does not burn up. So all we do is take our slabs and make a roof the same size as the bottom, maybe one out if you want to give it a little bit more dimension. Cosmetically, it doesn't matter. You guys can customize this however you want. This is just how I'm building it for the tutorial. So now that you have the roof on and you have the base, we can actually start working on the collection system. So this collection system is going to be a 19 by 19 hole that is 2 blocks deep. So it might take you a little bit to get through it, but once it's dug out, it'll look something like this. So once you have your hole dug, go ahead and break out these temporary blocks. Now you will be able to see the bottom of the bed, and that is all right. So what we're going to do now is come to the very center and dig ourselves a 3 by 3 hole, and we're going to need it pretty deep, but for now we're just going to make it like this. Now we will need several building blocks and lots of water. So let's go ahead and grab our water bucket. And what we're going to do here is we are going to put a building block in every other square all the way around the base. So once we get this done, then we will just place a bucket of water on top of every single one of these stones, and it'll look something like this. Now we need to go grab our oak signs or whatever type of signs you actually want, and we're going to place them in the corners like this. And we do not need to actually put anything on there, but that is going to dry up this little area. Now here comes a little bit of a tricky part. We are going to place another sign right on top of these signs. So if you look at this little square on top of the hitbox, you can place another sign on top like this. Now this is going to hold the water back, but make sure that none of the mobs fall in. Now for the collection system, if we fly back over here, we can see that we have 9 magma blocks. So what we're going to do is dig 3 down just like this, and dig ourselves a little tunnel about 4 deep off in that direction, just so that water will be shallow when it's flowing over here. Alright, so now for this layer we are going to add our magma block. Now magma blocks are fairly easy to get. Once you go to the nether, they are very common. So if you kill either a magma cube, you can get the magma cream, which then you can make into these blocks, or you can just mine them out of the nether. Now I want the entrance to this to be away from our bridge, so I'm gonna build it off this way and then dig that little tunnel off this way for the water, and we'll deal with that in a little bit. So now we are going to dig ourselves out the collection system, so we need to go 2 more deep and come out a little bit wider. Now for this, all we're just going to need are the chests and the hoppers. We can start putting together our system. So all we need to do is place a double chest there, and a double chest there. Come back up onto the magma blocks, place our hoppers down into those, and then we can place our regular chests right here, just like that, and now we have a 9 chest system. Now for this, we're just going to dig ourselves a little tunnel back out so we can get in and out of here fairly easily, and yeah. So once you have that dug out, we are just going to place ourselves some more signs. Once again, we don't need to write anything on them, and that will hold back the water. Now what we want to do is take our water buckets and fill in this back area to where they flow all the way up there, and the signs once again are going to stop them. The reason why I like to do this is so that water is shallow and the mobs won't be able to swim their way out of taking damage. Now another thing is I like to place a slab right here. Same reason as with the villagers, we can hit shift and crawl underneath. Now we need to figure out how to get our villagers into this little area. So easiest way is if you grab yourself some rails and a minecart. Now, when villagers spawn in villages at night, they will go into their houses, which is an ideal time to essentially capture them. Alright, so now we have our villager in his wonderful mansion, and we have him trapped in there because we put a slab at the top half of the door. The more I use slabs, the more I realize just how fantastic they are of a tool. You can use them to keep mobs from spawning, you can use them to trap villagers. They are just super, super good to have. So what you can do with this is start laying yourself a rail system. Now for the rails, it takes 24 iron to make a full stack of rails, but thankfully you don't really need that many because you can always just break some at the back of the track as you go. But what we're going to do is make ourselves a little railway all the way into our villager storage area, which I'm just going to call it. And all we need to do to capture the villagers, since they're going to be inside, is place ourselves a rail and then a minecart, and we will start just trying to shove them in there, and there you go. So when they are in the minecart, they can go underneath this slab, which is really, really helpful. So yeah, now they are trapped to do our bidding, and we'll just push them along and get them into our little area. And personally, I find this is the easiest way to get them where we want them. So right now we can either leave them in there, or we can break the minecart, and they actually, this guy can get out because of slab. We'll put that right there. Now he can't get out, so he is trapped forever to do our bidding. Now you can repeat the process, and yeah, just keep on going with it. Now one thing I will advise is always make sure that you have your gate, because we don't want any mobs to start getting in here and trying to attack our villager and just not do things the way we want, at least for now. So once we get our villagers in there the way we want, the easiest way, I'll actually jump into survival for this and see if we can get one of these. I just want one zombie mad at us. There we go. Oh, we don't want the baby zombie. Oh, get away from me. Maybe we can lead him up on the bridge and knock him off. Oh, gosh darn it. Leave me alone. Yeah, easiest way to get a... Did they really just fall off? Okay, I was gonna say easiest way to get them up here is if you can lead them on the bridge. They will be able to follow you easily. You can come up here, run all the way around, and then close the gate behind you, and then you have yourself a trapped zombie. So let's try this again. Okay, so a little bit of a redesign of this. It's definitely needs a bridge apparently because oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, never mind on the Iron Farm tutorial, guys. This is a zombie farm. What the ever living crap. I have never seen that. Oh my goodness. Let's just get a whole bunch of them over here, see if that works out a little bit better. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, gosh. Darn it. Alright, so after some manipulation, yes, I'm jumping in between creative and survival, and yes, I got blown up by a creeper if you guys are wondering. What we do is simply build ourselves a bridge. What are you doing? No. Okay, there we go. So now we have the zombie in here, so we will just come back here, make ourselves some gates, preferably a fence, and there we go. Now we have our zombie trapped. That was a whole lot harder than I anticipated. Just okay, just make sure you have an extra wide bridge, put some railing on the side of it. All of this is temporary, so once you are done and you have your zombie, you can break that. Now, one very important thing, if you don't want to have to redo this multiple times, is make sure that you have yourself a name tag. So you can acquire these through trading with villagers, or you can get them through fishing. Sometimes they are in a buried treasure chest. Yeah, you can find them all sorts of different places. Unfortunately, you cannot craft them. But what we can do with a name tag is we can take it to an anvil, which takes 31 iron, and we can rename it. So once we have our name tag renamed, let's call this zombie Tim. Once we have this guy renamed, we can actually we don't have to worry about him ever despawning. So all you gotta do is right click on him, and now Tim is here for good. So yeah, that is how you build the iron farm. Now this design takes, the design itself takes 15 iron to build. Unfortunately, there's the 31 iron that it takes to build the anvil, but you get to use that a lot in the future. Alright, so that is how you guys build an iron farm. Now, a couple things to note: if it's not working, make sure all of your villagers are locked into a trade. As you can see, this villager right here kind of keeps jumping in and out of work. I'm not really sure why he's not taking work. Did that help? Yeah, that helped. So yeah, just make sure you trade with these guys, get those trades locked in, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so that is all there is to it. You guys can build an entire district of these iron farms and make yourself an absolute ton of iron in a very short period of time. Each one of these modules will actually produce around 150 to 170 iron per hour, which is really, really good. So if you had 4 of these, that's, wait, quick math. 600. Yeah, 600 iron per hour if you built 4 of these, and they are actually fairly simple. I love this design because of how easy it is to actually get the zombies and the villagers in where you want them. It is a little bit tedious still using those iron rails, but beyond that, it's a fairly simple and cheap way of making an iron farm. The most expensive component is the anvil, which technically really isn't part of the farm itself. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and also if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. That helps me out a ton by letting me know you are enjoying what you're watching and lets me know you want to see more of it in the future. So, as usual, I'm you gots to be, and as always, I gots to go.